Hi, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm excited about this week's coaching topic because this week I'm going to be sharing with you, or I should say this week's topic is when you start to let go of your past, these 10 things will happen for you. Okay, so we all have experienced the loss of something significant that has caused us great sadness and pain. Maybe you're holding on to a relationship that you know in your heart is not healthy, hoping that it'll turn back into the way things were in the beginning, before all the hurt and the pain. And sometimes it's just not going to do that. Starting to let go of your past and relationships or anything significant is one of the hardest things you'll ever experience in life. We are comfortable with the known, and we will often choose known suffering over an uncertain future. We resist change and hold on to the past, often long after it's quit serving us. And as I was saying that, I was thinking about a song that Luther Vandross sings, and he simply says, "I'd rather have bad times with you than good times with someone new." And for whatever reason, that just popped into my mind because that's how people think. You will take this bad mess with someone that you know instead of trying to build something new with someone that wants to give you happy memories. But let me move on. So when you let go of these 10 things, great things will happen. So here's number 1. You will realize a new positive version of yourself. And here's a quote that says, "I use memories, but I will not allow memories to use me." And this quote is by Deepak Chopra. I guess that's how you say their name. So our brains are fascinating combinations of pure miracle, computer processor, and organ tissues. But did you know that the memories that you hold are not necessarily all that accurate? Did you know that your memories can actually be altered by defined by you today? So something that happened years ago, sometimes your mind remembers things happening one way, but that's not actually how it was. You have the power through what you choose to focus on to change your future. When we are experiencing a negative aspect of life, our brains scan the past looking for similar memories to match up with this, confirming the current negativity. That voice that says, "You always end up in these bad relationships." Why do you always do that? That comes from this filtering and matching process. Once you let go of what is hurting you, your mind and your memories will work on creating a powerful new positive version of your life. Number 2, you will make room for the new. And this quote simply says, "Some changes look negative on the surface, but you will soon realize that space is being created in your life for something new to emerge." And this quote is by Eckhart Tolle. When you keep replaying the past, and I don't suggest you always do that, especially if that's not a good memory, stop replaying that stuff. You are forfeiting your present. Once you decide to let go of the past, however, you become drawn towards your new goals, your new visions, and new people that will lead you to an exciting, fresh chapter of growth in your life. Our lives are not meant to be static. Change doesn't happen Change does happen for a reason. And the less resistance you create against change, more growth is available for you. Think of the process as the tree that has to drop its leaves and become bare. The reason a tree is stripped down to its core is the miraculous coming of spring. New growth that is powerful, beautiful, and necessary for that tree's survival follows the winter. No, we're not trees, and thank God that we're not. But we are living the same type of growth and rebirth cycle all through our lives. Embrace the truth of this and come to peace with it. Think back over your life when how many changes did you despise at the time that you now can look back on and appreciate how they've helped you grow? Let me just throw one out there. See, I don't mind being transparent with you guys. I can remember when a relationship that I was in, I thought that thing was going to last forever. But I realized that this person really was not good for me. And what I was doing is what I told you a few minutes ago, was I was holding on to the familiar, the hurt of the familiar, because I was afraid to move on to something new. Well, honey, let me tell you something. I will never do that again. And so I said that for a reason, but what was it? I said that for a reason. I was going somewhere with that. Oh, so I said the question is, how many changes did you despise at the time? So that was a change that I despised at the time, and I thought I was never going to get past it. But look at me now. I'm in a healthy relationship with someone that truly values me as an individual, that just supports me in every way possible, even with some of the crazy stuff that I come up with. But do you see how I despise the change of letting go of that other thing? And had I not, I would have had room for this new thing. So, it may not feel good at the time, but it will work out. Number 3, you will handle new obstacles with grace. And this quote simply says, the past should be a learning experience, not an everlasting punishment. What's done is done. You guys, I love that. Whatever's happened in the past is done. Let it go. Some of y'all keep torturing yourself and punishing yourself over and over again. Let that thing go. Decide right now, today, this moment, that you're going to let it go because it's done. You can't change it. And that quote is unknown. So once you move through a difficult life, once you move through the difficulty that life has thrown at you, it will enable you to handle the next one with even more grace and ease. It's a learned skill to let go of your past and move on. Think back to how difficult breakups were early in life. Now, didn't I just tell y'all that? If you've had some dating experience, the ability to let go and move on gets easier. Trusting yourself gets easier, and the more you experience it, and the more you experience it, future change and more experiences that require letting go lie ahead are guaranteed. The more practiced and comfortable you are with this process, the more that you will grow gracefully, and you'll learn to let go of those things that no longer serve you but force you to serve them. Number 4, you will learn to love yourself first. Let me tell you something. If you haven't learned to do that, I need you to start doing that right now. You've got to love you first, because not everybody out here loves you. They may say they do, but not everybody out here loves you, and they may never love you. So learn to love yourself first. So we all want to feel loved in our relationships. But the key to feeling love is actually to love yourself first. No amount of actions or absence of actions or words of another can fix a lack of love for yourself. We stay in relationships that are not great for us because we're searching for something outside of ourselves when we really need to be finding that inside first. See, I can't expect you to love me if I don't love me first. Y'all get where I'm going with that? And I do love me, in case you hadn't noticed. So like I said, we really need to find that inside of ourselves first. Turn inward during this time of letting go. Stop saying, oh my God, if I don't let go of him, nobody's going to love me. Honey, that ain't love. And if that's your definition of love, this man that's cheating on you comes home anytime he wants to, smelling like some other woman, that's not love. That's cause for getting your tail whooped, but that's a whole nother video. But that is not love. You've got to love you first, because when you love you first, you'll understand that you don't need to put up with that foolishness. Moving on. Number 5, you will inspire others. Without even knowing it, you will touch and inspire others. When I meet smiling, kind-hearted, generous, tender souls that I know have gone through great loss, I'm always awed in their presence. These people are proof positive that recovery can and does occur if you let it in. When you let go of your past, you will own that as a part of who you are and positively show others in your life how to let go with grace. Early in your early life experiences, some people have gone through abuse, right? Abusive relationships, I should say. And so they don't enjoy reliving those memories, but sometimes you do so that you don't make the same mistake. Now that's okay, but when you relive that memory just so you can keep reliving it and wallowing in self-pity, we're not doing that. Relive it and then move on. We had Marvis May. He's since passed on and gone on to be with the Lord. But I remember some years ago he came to Metropolitan and he was preaching, and he talked about, he said every now and then you want to glance over your shoulder and then keep it moving. What that means is sometimes you got to look back to see where you've come from, but then keep moving. Don't stay there, because your future is not behind you. It's in front of you. Number 6, you will grow closer to your destiny. We are all here for a purpose, okay? Every experience, every hardship, every burden, even all our hurts have shaped and formed us into who we are, who we were supposed to be at this very moment. We are each here to balance out the universe in a very unique and intricate way that only we can fulfill. All of your experiences are creating the very fiber of your being, bringing you closer to what you have come here to learn. Believe that each learning experience is meant to draw you closer to learning your life lesson. It's not necessary that we view each experience as positive or negative, but each experience is necessary for our growth to unfold. So yes, we do sit, because I've done it before, and we say, well, Lord, why did I have to go through that? Why did I have to struggle? Why did I? But guess what? All those things that you had to go through make you who you are today, and it's made me who I am today at this very moment. Number 7, you will naturally attract what you need. And this quote simply says, abundance is a process of letting go. That which is empty cannot, I'm sorry, abundance is a process of letting go. That which is empty can receive. You see, if my hand, and I'm going to use this mouse, if my hands are holding on to this mouse, I can't receive whatever it is that's coming my way because I already have this mouse in my hand. But if I put this mouse down, my hands are now open to receive that which is meant for me. Y'all will catch that later on. Number 7. No, I'm sorry, that was number 7. Oh, and that quote was by Bryant H. McGill. So, the pieces of your past that no longer fits your life came to you at a time when you were a much different person than who you are today. And put a pin right here, because y'all know some of the foolishness that you had to put up with back in the day, it wouldn't come to you today because you're a whole different person. And when people encounter your presence, they can see that you are the no-nonsense person that you weren't back in the day. So, are you the same person now that you were 10 years ago? And I can honestly say, no, I'm not. Now you are a vastly different you are a vastly different person right now. You send off different vibrations than who you were before. You are now what naturally draws you to expect let me go back and reread that. Who you are now will naturally draw to you exactly the situation, the person, and the future that you need at this very moment. Know that, trust in that, and step into that. Oh, what is wrong with my reading today? Know that, trust in that, and step into that in faith. What you need will come to you at exactly the right time for you, just like at the right time for me. So I'm telling y'all, you will naturally attract what you need. And I'm sorry, you guys, my sinuses are draining. Number 8, you will realize that you are really all you need. That's powerful. And I can end this video right there on that note. You are all that you need. We got to stop walking around thinking that we need a man or we need a woman. We need a big house. We need a fancy car. Honey, you are all that you need. You can only lose something that you have, but you cannot lose something that you are. And this quote is by Eckhart Tolle as well. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. Let me read it one more time. You can only lose something that you have, but you cannot lose who you are. You just cannot. So, being in a blissful, supportive, loving relationship is wonderful. But do you really think that is the only path to happiness? It's not. And I know sometimes we think it is, but it really isn't. Look around you. Who do you know who is not in a relationship that seems to have it all together? What do they do differently? They find joy in themselves, their interests, and they build a life not dependent on someone else. There is a difference between love and attachment. When we become attached and dependent on another for our own well-being and happiness, that's not love. That's just being dependent. So that's not love, you guys. Love is without attachment and dependency. Love yourself as much as you love another, and your relationship outcomes will naturally become more positive. See, I've got to love me first. I can't love you if I don't love myself. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know how, but some people actually do. Some people worship the ground that their significant other walks on, but when you talk to them, they don't even love themselves. And I'm like, ooh, how does that even happen? Because I got to love me before I can love anybody. And if nobody else in this world but God and my family loved me, I'm all right. You know why? Because I love me. And I need you to understand that you've got to love you first, because that's when you and I think sometimes relationships don't work out because one of those individuals doesn't really love themselves, but you want your significant other to give you all this love because you can't find it in your heart for whatever reason to love yourself. So you got to do that. Number 9, you will grow your empathy for others. In addition to aspiring others, you will become more in tune with others' pain. When we ourselves have experienced pain, loss, and disappointment, that enables us to see the same in others. You will have the heart to notice the young girl you work with who is in the midst of an unhappy relationship. You will have the experience and empathy to feel her pain and to offer support. You have been changed by your experience into a more advanced, soulful person, and now you can help others with what you've learned. So we're all here to help each other on this journey and lean on each other for support. Okay, so always remember that whatever you're going through, somebody else may be doing the same. So you've got to be in tune so that you can reach out and help that other person. Last but not least, number 10, you will know in your heart what is good for you. Regret doesn't remind us that we did badly. It reminds us that we know that we could do better. And this quote is by Carol Schultz. At the end of a relationship, we experience things that just aren't going. Let me reread that. At the end of a relationship, we experience things that just aren't good for us. These can be things inflicted by others that we know are against our core values, or they can be things that we put upon ourselves. When we don't receive the love and support we're looking for, we can turn into bitter and angry people, right? When we hold on to grief, we can punish ourselves with guilt. We can only hold on to bitterness, anger, and grief for so long before we have to let go of the pain. We know these burdens are poisoning our heart and robbing our soul of the joy it needs to thrive. So we must learn to feel what is good for us more fully. This is how we learn to go forward and do better, live better, and choose better. So let me go back to that quote one more time. Regret doesn't remind us that we did badly. It reminds us that we know that we could do better. So you will know in your heart what is good for you. And the thing is, you got to listen to your heart, because you know what, y'all? Sometimes the heart is always speaking. But the question is, are you listening to your heart, or do you just want what you want? Because we do, right? We can be stubborn sometimes, but we just want what we want, regardless of what the heart is telling you. So let's do a quick recap, and I promise I'll let you be. So, when you start to let go of your past, these things will happen. Number 1, you will realize a new positive version of yourself. Number 2, you will make room for the new. Number 3, you will handle new obstacles with grace. Number 4, you will learn to love yourself first. Number 5, you will inspire others. Number 6, you will grow closer to your destiny. Number 7, you will naturally attract what you need. Number 8, you will realize that you are really all that you need. Number 9, you will grow in your empathy for others. And number 10, you will know in your heart what is good for you. Now, these are in no specific order. All I'm saying is when you start to let go, you will experience these things. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for my newest subscribers. Thank you so much to those of you that continue to support me. Love you guys to the moon and back. And I want you to really listen to what I've shared with you today, because I want you guys to start letting go. Stop holding on to that hurt. That man, that woman, even a family member hurt you. I understand it hurts. I'm not making light of that, but let it go, because guess what? Whatever it was that they did to hurt you, I promise you, they moved on. They're not thinking about it. They could care less one way or the other. So let it go and open up and be the best you that you can be, so that you can be the best you that you can be for someone else. Until next week, I love you guys to the moon and back, and I can't wait to talk and share some more words of wisdom with you. Until then, take care.